Compositions of transformation. A composition means that it is multiple transformations in one. So we're going to complete composition of transformations today. In order to do multiple transformations, I'm doing this first to kind of review all of the transformations with you guys before the quiz instead of doing the quiz first. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes. Katie might need to use her verbal, telling of what's going on for this for you. So it is multiple transformations in one. So let's look at this. Given AB with coordinates A, -2, 5, and B, 3, -5, determine the points of the image after the transformation. So if it goes right 3, down 1, that means you're adding 3 to X and subtracting 2 to Y. So what does A become? What does A become? What does A become? -2 plus 3 is 1. 5 minus 2 is 3, right? What does B become then, guys? 6, comma, -6. 3 plus 3 is 6. And -4 minus 2 is -6. Questions on how we got that? Anybody have questions on how we got that? So we're just adding X and Y here. So X is -2. So -2 plus 3 is 1. Y is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay? So we said the rule is X plus 3, Y minus 2. I am somebody that likes graph paper. So if you ever want graph paper, just let me know. So if we do a reflection across the x-axis, and we have those points plotted, so -2, 5. There are rules, so if you're good with the rules, go ahead. I'm terrible with the rules, so just being honest with you people here. Geometry is not my strongest suit. But I also think that it makes me teach it better than I do Algebra 1 for that reason. All right, so A and B are here. If we're reflecting across the x-axis, or the y-axis, which is the vertical one here, how many away is A from the y-axis? How many away from the y-axis is A? 2. So if we flip it over, it's going to go to the +2, right? Will your y-coordinate change at all? No, because it's going to be at the same level. So you go to +2, comma, 5. How many away is B from the y-axis? 3. So if we go 3 in the other direction, we'll be at positive or -3? -3. And will the y value change? Will your y value change? No. And you can see that if you need to graph paper when it's not given to you, let me know. So questions on reflection over the y. Granted, those two should be connected, but we're going to go from here. So I'm going to plot my points, and I'm going to rotate 90 degrees about the origin clockwise. So clockwise is that direction. So I'm going to plot A. So that's at -2, 5. And B is at 3, -4. Which quadrant should A end up in before we even do anything? Which quadrant should A end up in? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 1, 2, 3, or 4 if we're going 90 degrees clockwise. What'd you say, Greg? 1. And which quadrant should B end up in? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 3. Good. So we know where we're supposed to be going. The slope for A is up 5 over 2, right, in the negative direction. So what is the perpendicular slope? If it's a 90-degree rotation, remember it's perpendicular. What is the perpendicular slope of that? What's Devin perpendicular, negative 5 over 2? Perfect, 2 over 5. So we start at the origin. We know we need to end up here, right, Devin? So do I go up or down 2? Right or left 5? Right 5, very good. So that means A prime is at 5, comma 2. Bless you. Okay, B is going down 4 over 3. What's the perpendicular to 4/3? What is the perpendicular to 4/3, Ian? Yeah, I'm fine with that. So B needs to end up here, right? So do you have to go up or down 3? Yeah, you still.
Up 3.
So that's going to get you down to this quadrant if you go up 3?
Oh, no, then
Down 3, and do I go right or left 4?
Left 4.
Left 4. So that puts me at negative 4, negative 3. Again, if you like the rules better, that is fine if you're memorizing them. I am just somebody that can't do the memorization of rules. There's way too many of them. I would mix them up easily. Okay, questions at all there? Go ahead and get those copied down, and then we're going to talk about some compositions for the next 13 minutes. It should be pretty straightforward once we start it, and then you'll take your quiz. All right, so it says a combination of 2 or more transformations, each performed on the previous image, is a composition. So a glide reflection is a transformation involving a translation followed by a reflection in which every point P is mapped to a point P double prime by the following steps. So do you see how it has 2 dashes? So a single composition has 1 dash because it's one composition. So a double composition will have 2 dashes. If you did 3 compositions, it would be 3 dashes. So each one adds a dash mark at the end, just so you guys are aware. So the first is a translation which maps P onto P and Q onto Q, and then a reflection which maps Q prime onto Q double prime and P prime onto P double prime. Okay? Does everybody see that? All right, so let's look at this. Perform the glide reflection. Given triangle ABC with vertices A, 3, 2, B, 6, 3, and C, 7, 1, and its image after the glide reflection, write the coordinates of each image. So first, go ahead and plot those points for me. Go ahead and plot those points. So A is 3, 2. B is 6, 3. And C is 7, 1. You guys need straight edges?
Yeah, you put mine.
Thank you. Was that C that I did wrong? Is it 6, 1? 7, 1? Who needs a straight edge? Raise your hand if you need a straight edge now, please. Okay, then raise your hand, please. You can keep it anyways because you're going to have your quiz. Try, if you have your own, please pull it out just because people have been breaking mine and they've been, disappearing a little bit. Can you pass that next camera? Anybody else need one? It's over here if you want to get up and do it, just so I can keep going with the notes. All right. So we start there. It's a translation. X, comma, at y minus 6. What does that mean if it just says x here? What do you think that means? It stays the same. So A is 3, comma 2. So A is going to stay at 3. What will 2 change to if you're subtracting 6? So A will become 3, negative 4. And I plot that point. And I go on to the next one. So B is 6, 3. What's going to happen with X? If it's just X, does 6 change? No. Hayden, what does Y become then? 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Very good. So that's 6, negative 3. And then C. Will the 7 change? Abby, what does the 1 become? 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So that is the first transformation there. That is the first transformation there. So go ahead and connect those points. And that's just the translation. But we still have to do one more transformation here. And that is the reflection. The y-axis is the up and down axis. So make sure you mark your up and down axis as your reflection line so you know where you're reflecting over. Can't get it to line up. Okay, so we're going to be reflecting over that line. Which one are we reflecting over that line? The black or the pink? The pink. You go from the previous one. Does everybody understand the composition? You always go from the previous one. So we've already slid this one down. So now we're going to reflect it over the y. So A is 3 away from the y-axis. So how many does it need to be away on the other side? 3. So that will be moved over to that side. So 1, 2, 3 is right here. So that is at negative 3, negative 4. Make sure you're plotting all the points. B is how many away from the y-axis? How many is it away? 6, so it needs to go 6 away on the other side. And we'll say the same height, just move over on the x. So that's negative 6, negative 3. And then C is how many away from the axis? 7, so it's going to go 7 away, but stay the same height on the y. So that is negative 7, negative 5. Okay, questions on a glide reflection. Questions on the glide reflection that just happened there. Some of you guys are using like 3 different colors. Probably a good idea. Highlighters and stuff because it makes it nice. Some of you guys will want to do pencil first and then maybe highlight the image after you know you're right with the highlighter. That sometimes is a good idea too. Questions on that? How are we feeling? Easy, hard? Where are we at? Easy so far? Yeah, question.
So I accidentally did it wrong and I like put the second one on the first, like in this. Does that matter? Like, do we have to do it in certain steps?
Yes, it has to go translation then reflection.
Okay.
It has to go in the right order. Yeah. So the top one will be first and then that one.
We would reflect the translation.
Yeah, so you always reflect the previous step. So
Okay.
you do the black one to the pink one, and then the pink one to the red one. Does that make sense? So it's like 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next one. Let's skip that one and go on to performing this composition here. So 180-degree rotation about the origin and a reflection over x equals negative 4. So we're at the bottom one down there now. So graph RS with endpoints 1, negative 3. And 2, negative 6. And its image after the composition. Write the coordinates of each image. So we're going to start, so kind of going off of what the question that Logan had for me, he said, does it matter the order you do it in? The answer is yes. you do the rotation first, and it's on the original, which is called the pre-image, right? You create an image off of that is rotated, and that rotation then becomes the reflection. Does that make sense? So you need to go in order there. So if you're rotating 180 degrees, the slope does not change, right? So we're rotating 180 degrees, so the slope stays. Where will R and S both end up? In quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? 2, right? Because you have to go 2 quadrants over. So R is going down 3 over 1. So do we have to go up or down 3 to get to that quadrant? Up 3, and then right or left 1? Left 1. So that's at negative 1, 3. S is down 6 over 2. So I have to go up or down 6? Up or down 6 to get in that quadrant? Up 6. Which way do we have to go over? Left 2. You guys are really good at just pointing instead of saying the word. So that is at negative 2, 6. Okay, so again, going off of what Logan said, make sure you're reflecting the red one now. Does that make sense? Make sure you're reflecting the red one now. So is an x equals equation vertical or horizontal? Vertical. So we need to go through x equals negative 4 and reflect over that. That's our line of reflection. So S is how many away from the line negative 4? How many away is it? 2. So we need to go 2 over on the other side, right? Which then gets us at negative 6, 6. Okay, how many away is R?
3.
3. So that is then at negative 7. So that's negative 7, positive 3. So questions on that one? Questions on that one? Okay, we're going to do the very last example, and then we will take your quiz again. If you don't finish your quiz, it's fine. Did I write something wrong?
Yeah, 7-3 would be for R. Yeah.
Oh, I did flip them. Like that? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay. All right, so just the very last example now is what we're going to look at. And then again, if you don't finish your quiz, we'll just finish them tomorrow before we start the lesson. Hopefully you're understanding this. So this has 3 compositions. Do you guys see that? So you start with the translation then gets reflected, and the reflection then gets rotated, is what's happening here. So go ahead and plot the original 3, negative 2. And negative 1, 5. So what is x's new ordered pair, Carmichael? What is x's new ordered pair if it's x plus 1, y minus 5?
X is 4.
Good?
And Y is.
Yeah, Y is wrong.
Okay, I'll fix it in a second here.
Y is negative 7.
Yeah. That better? Is that what it's supposed to be? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then who can tell me y's new ordered pair? Let's see here. Olivia, what is y's new ordered pair then? Right here? -7. So the translation is this, and you're looking at y.
Okay, so it's 0, 0.
Yep. So we have 4, -7 for x, and 0, 0 for y. Okay, then it says reflect over the x-axis. Is that the horizontal or the vertical axis? Is that the horizontal or vertical axis? Is the x-axis horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. It's this axis here. Will y move at all if you're rotating on that or reflecting over that? No, so y double prime is going to still be at 0, 0. X is how many away from the axis? How many away is that? If you're counting that there, how many away is that? Kylie, how many is x away from the x-axis?
7.
Good, so we have to go 7 up from there. So that puts us at 4, 7. And then finally, we get to rotate it. If we're rotating 180 degrees, how many quadrants does it move? 2. Will y move at all if you're rotating about the origin? No. So y double prime is still staying there. Triple prime, thank you. And then x will end up in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which quadrant will it end up in? 1, 2, 3, or 4. We're looking at the red one, so it should go to 3. So it goes up 7 over 4. Do we flip it at all for an 180 degree rotation? So should we go up or down to get to quadrant 3? Down 7, left or right? Left 4. So that should get us at -7, -4. Or -4, -7. I wrote that backwards. Okay, questions there before I give you guys your quiz? Questions there before I give you guys your quiz? All right.